The words hit like a slap across my face, sharp and stinging in the dim light of our cramped kitchen. Mom, seriously. That's all you've got squirreled away after all these years? A measly 10 grand. Pathetic. My son, Jason, leaned against the counter. His lips curled in that smug sneer he'd perfected in his 20s, waving my bank statement like it was toilet paper. The paper crinkled in his grip, the black ink of my modest balance mocking me back. I stood there, frozen, the steam from the boiling pasta pot clouding the air with the scent of garlic and regret. At 62, widowed and worn thin by factory shifts, I'd scraped every penny for him. For college, for his failed startups, for the life I never had. Humiliation burned in my chest, hot tears pricking my eyes, but fury surged beneath, a raw, primal rage that made my hands tremble. How dare he? After everything. In that moment, heartbreak cracked open wide, revealing the resentment I'd buried for years. But as he tossed the statement onto the table with a laugh, something colder stirred inside me. A resolve to make him pay, to shatter that entitlement like glass under my heel. The betrayal didn't start there, not really. It had roots in the soil of our fractured family, tilled by years of quiet sacrifices. I'd raised Jason alone after his father died in a mill accident when he was 10. The compensation barely covering the funeral. I worked double shifts at the textile plant, the hum of machines vibrating through my bones, the lint coating my lungs like regret. Jason grew up resenting the hand-me-downs, the ramen dinners, but I dreamed big for him. Scholarships, ambitions. He went to business school on loans I co-signed, emerging cocky, convinced he was destined for wealth. But his ventures flopped. A tech app that tanked, a crypto scheme that evaporated. Each time he came crawling back, eyes pleading, and I'd dip into my savings, whispering, "Just this once." Denial had been my shield. I told myself he was grateful, that blood bound us unbreakable. Yet doubts crept in during sleepless nights, the mattress sagging under my weight, as I fantasized about cutting him off, watching him squirm. Now, at 28, Jason lived in my basement, jobless again. His latest big idea, a vaporware startup. The mockery in the kitchen wasn't new. He'd made jabs before, but this felt deliberate, a probe into my vulnerability. As I stirred the pasta, the wooden spoon scraping the pot's scarred bottom, I fought the urge to lash out. "It's not about the amount, Jason," I said, voice steady but laced with suppressed rage. "It's security. For emergencies." He snorted, popping a beer from the fridge, the hiss echoing like a challenge. "Emergencies? Like bailing me out again? Face it, Mom, you're a relic. In this economy, 10K is nothing. I could make that in a week if I had real capital." His words dripped manipulation, revealing his motive. He wanted more, always more. Tension coiled in the room, the fluorescent light buzzing overhead, casting harsh shadows on his angular face, so like his father's, yet twisted by greed. I plated the food in silence, the ceramic clinking against the formica table, but inside, obsession took seed. Fantasies bloomed, exposing his laziness to his few friends, changing the locks while he was out. But guilt nipped at the edges. He was my son, my only family. Moral conflict churned. Was I failing as a mother by enabling him? Or was revenge justified after his ingratitude? The meal passed in stilted conversation, his phone pinging with notifications, dating apps I suspected, while I chewed mechanically, planning quietly. The next morning, as rain pattered against the window panes, turning the world outside into a gray blur, the phone rang. I wiped flour from my hands. I'd been baking bread, the yeast's earthy scent filling the kitchen like a false comfort, and answered. "Mrs. Eleanor Hayes. This is First National Bank. We're calling to confirm you're the main account holder for account number ending in 4782. There's been an inquiry about a large transfer." Shock jolted through me, electric and disorienting. My modest savings were in that account, but large transfer? Heart pounding, I gripped the receiver, the plastic cool and slick. "What inquiry? I didn't authorize anything." The teller hesitated, her voice tinny. It seems someone claiming to be your power of attorney attempted access. We need verbal confirmation. Rage ignited, layered with heartbreak. Jason. Had to be. He'd snooped my statements. Now this? Denial flickered. Maybe a mistake. But suspicion hardened into certainty. As I confirmed my identity, the teller revealed the balance. Not 10,000 but over 2 million. From the estate settlement, she added casually. The world tilted. Estate. My mind raced back 20 years. My estranged uncle, a reclusive investor who'd cut ties with the family. I'd heard rumors of his wealth, but his death 5 years ago brought nothing. Or so I'd thought. Apparently, a trust had matured, deposited quietly into a linked account I'd forgotten about. 2 million. Hidden untouched. The irony burned. Jason mocked my measly savings, oblivious to the fortune. As I hung up, cold resolve settled like frost on glass. This wasn't just betrayal. It was attempted theft. Inner thoughts stormed. Forgive him, he's lost? Well. Fantasies shifted to justice, using the money to teach him to strip his illusions. But fear whispered, what if he fights back? Moral gray loomed. Revenge could destroy us both. I confronted him that evening, the house creaking in the wind, lamps casting long shadows. He lounged on the couch, scrolling his phone, the blue glow illuminating his indifference. Jason, we need to talk. He glanced up, eyes narrowing. About what? Your pasta was bland last night, by the way. Suppressed rage bubbled. About the bank. You tried to access my account. Denial flashed across his face. Then deflection. What? No, must be a mix-up. I was just checking for you. His lie hung heavy, revealing secrets. Desperation, perhaps debts I didn't know. Tension heightened as I pressed. You mocked my savings, then tried to steal them. Why? He stood, pacing, his sneakers scuffing the worn carpet. Steal. It's family money. You owe me, for raising me, for everything I've endured. Manipulation peaked. His voice cracking with feigned hurt. But underneath, moral complexity emerged. He believed it, twisted by entitlement fostered by my overgiving. Heartbreak clawed deeper. I'd created this monster. Guilt surged, but resentment won. Get out, I whispered, voice steel. He laughed, bitter. You can't. I have nowhere. The slow burn began. I didn't evict him immediately. Instead, subtle hints of vengeance emerged. I changed passwords, locked documents, watching him squirm. Obsession grew in quiet moments, sipping tea at dawn, planning. Doubt nagged, was this right? Fear of loneliness battled resolve. Weeks passed in calculated silence. Jason grew restless, job hunting half-heartedly, his bar tabs mounting. I saw the receipts he hid poorly. I hired a PI discreetly, the office smelling of stale coffee and secrets, learning his hidden motives. Gambling debts, a shady investor circle. Layered, he wasn't evil, just broken, chasing his father's ghost through quick schemes. One night, as thunder rumbled outside, rain lashing the roof, he cornered me. Mom, I need help. Just a loan. No, I said, heart pounding. Suspense built. He loomed closer, eyes desperate. You have more, don't you? He accused, a subtle foreshadowing of his suspicions. I denied, but the seed was planted. Planning intensified. I'd use the fortune strategically, not for him, but against his illusions. Moral conflict peaked, help or hurt. The line blurred. Finally, the bank confirmed the full transfer. 2 million mine. Power shifted, cold and intoxicating. But as I stared at the statement, alone in the flickering lamplight, guilt twisted. Revenge might heal or haunt. The lawyer's office gleamed with mahogany and leather, the air thick with the scent of old books and quiet authority. I sat across from Mr. Hargrove, his bifocals perched on his nose, as he outlined the trust's details. Your uncle stipulated secrecy until maturity, Mrs. Hayes, to prevent undue influence. His words hung, a nod to family greed. Outside, autumn leaves swirled in the wind, mirroring my inner turmoil. Resolve had brought me here, but obsession gnawed. Fantasies of Jason's face when he learned the truth, doubt if I could follow through. The betrayal stung anew. He'd forged a power of attorney, the PI confirmed. His signature clumsy on scanned docs. Rage layered with heartbreak. He'd planned this for months. Hargrove slid papers across the desk, the rustle amplifying tension. You can allocate as you wish. Perhaps a foundation. Ideas swirled. Cut Jason off but subtly. Moral gray deepened. Poetic justice meant making him earn, not suffer. But resentment pushed darker. Expose his debts, watch creditors circle. Back home, the house felt like a pressure cooker. Jason's presence a constant hum. He cooked dinner that night. Rare, the sizzle of steak filling the kitchen a peace offering. "Mom, truce," he said, plating food, his smile forced. Dialogue revealed cracks. "Why the change?" asked, fork hovering. He shrugged, eyes evading. "I was wrong. Press. Forgive me." Manipulation again, but guilt flickered in his gaze. Perhaps genuine remorse. Suspense mounted as I probed. "The bank thing. A mistake. I thought you needed help managing." Lies but layered. He feared poverty, mirroring my past. I nodded, feigning acceptance, but planning churned. That night, in bed, sheets tangled around me, I outlined steps. Transfer funds to a new account, revise my will excluding him, start a scholarship in his father's name, for others. Fear hit. What if he discovers? Inner conflict raged. Motherly love versus self-preservation. Subtle retaliation began. I accidentally left a financial advisor's card out. He pounced. "Mom, who's this? Planning retirement." "Yes," I said coolly. "Without burdens." His face tightened, hint of vengeance in his eyes. Rising tension. Late nights he paced downstairs, phone calls and whispers. The PI reported. He was digging into my uncle's estate, suspicions growing. One rainy afternoon, the confrontation erupted. I found him in my room, drawers rifled, the trust letter in hand. $2 million. And you let me think you were broke. His voice thundered, betrayal reversed in his mind. Fury exploded. You mocked me. Tried to steal. He advanced, face contorted. It's mine too. Family. Suppressed rage broke. Get out. Now. He left in a storm, slamming doors, tires screeching. Alone, heartbreak crashed, my son lost. But resolve hardened, time for payoff. Months of quiet calculation followed. I invested wisely, the fortune growing. Jason spiraled. Evicted from a sublet, debts mounting. He called pleading. Mom, help. I'm sorry. Each refusal built suspense. His voice cracking more. Moral conflict peaked. I sent small amounts, enough to survive but not thrive, gray justice. The twist came unexpectedly. A knock at dawn. Jason, gaunt, rain-soaked. I found something. About Uncle. He thrust papers, forged by him. Whoa. Revelations. My uncle had another heir, a secret child. But deeper. Jason had uncovered my uncle's fraud, Ponzi schemes funding the trust. The money was tainted. Chuck jolted. What? I was investigating for leverage, he confessed, guilt raw. But it's dirty. If exposed, you lose everything. Hidden motives unveiled. His betrayal stemmed from discovering this years ago, resenting my unearned windfall while he struggled. Layered complexity. He'd protected me by silence, but greed twisted it. Psychological impact hit. My revenge hollow, built on illusions. Fear surged, lose the money. But poetic justice twisted. Together we exposed the fraud anonymously. The fortune seized, donated to victims. Unexpected consequences. Broke again but bonded. Jason reformed, got a job. I forgave but scars lingered. In the end, revenge's payoff was release. From obsession, from gray. The rain cleared, sunlight tentative, a new dawn.